So look, how do you react to your inner critic, and how do you respond to that critical voice that just won't leave you alone? Maybe you're feeling yourself shut down in response to all of that ruthless chatter that's going on in the mind and the subconscious, and you may not be evil, slow balance for berating yourself. And the inner critic can be useful in ways that you might not know yet. You might be unwilling to acknowledge it, and this inner voice might take you on your foot and keep you away from quick judgments that can be useful and allow you to make quick descriptions by creating simple categories in the past. Shorthand ways to describing preferences and consequences. At times, we need to make judgments very quickly in order to act. In examples, driving. Someone swabbing in late and making judgment in the very moment, making difficulties and laying the fact that making judgments incomplete, inaccurate, they can hold us back as a result. And there are some problems with judgments too. And they have a tendency to distract us from what's actually happening and may end up replacing facts. Judgments can lead us to stop observing and making us aware of what is going on around us, and can compete with negative emotions like guilt, shame, and let go of judgment, making helpful for our judgments in general, making to be able. And when they're useful for us, we make an important distinction between letting go that way and our judgments aren't really serving us, and we can stop making different choices. How can we do this? One way is through a mind compass, and one of the key elements in it is a non-judgmental stance. And it can help us increase our compassion, not just with the recipe to, but also with the judgments to quiet the inner judge and leave us free to aim at the things that we watch ourselves build out there in the world ourselves. And by this, your inner critic may be in a difficult position with its judgments that it's passing on at first, but it's passing them on and may help you keep the tally on a worksheet. And that way you have an opportunity to stop and notice that what you're bringing out is to determine whether the judgment is helpful, whether it led you to cause self-criticism, and then you can decipher will or not. If it's something helpful, you can consider navigating it in a way that serves all well. At first, it may seem to you as though your inner critic is turbocharged and full of power, and it's overreacting, full of judgment, and it might berate itself with these judgments that you're passing. And although you may feel like inner critic is running wild, what actually is happening is that you're becoming more aware of the inner judgment, and your awareness is leaving you more and more vulnerable. You're not just aware of when you're doing it, you're also progressing by becoming more aware of where your mind is. And you have a greater opportunity to bring it back to where you want it to be. When you identify what leads you to a judgment or self-criticism, you can determine whether it's something helpful for you or not. When you notice that your judgment, your own judgment, is an opportunity to ask yourself, is this judgment helping you or hurting me? And then you realize that you can contribute to that judgment serving as a positive. And you also have the option of taking action as a judgment, one that's hurting you, and gaining some additional information from the inner critic that's degrading us. And in these instances, the tools that we're learning about letting go and conserving Wang, we might reevaluate and become aware of what it was that we were judgment and the statements of preference. We can also replace judgments with things we have observed in each one of our senses. And when we use these steps, we can track what we notice without getting entangled in the internal monologue. And in this way, we can more easily allow the judgments to drift away. This can take some practice, especially at first. If you do notice as you progress that more judging is happening, try not to give in to the temptations to judge the judgment. Instead, allow yourself to observe your inner critic, observing what is going on. And that might actually serve you in that very moment. And if you're struggling to increase your awareness of your inner critic and your surpassed, then compassionate counselors can help you explore strategies for doing so. Copyright 28